What is the deal, beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ramon, and around here we talk about any and everything photography. Today's topic: what is the best camera for a beginner? Myself, I own many different camera systems: Canon, Olympus, Panasonic, Sony, Fuji. I think the only one I don't own is Nikon or Pentax. Shout out to the Pentax people around there somewhere. I enjoy them all. I enjoy them all because I build purposes around each system, right? So if I'm traveling light, the Olympus is there if I'm doing video, the Panasonic's there, my professional work, my Sony's there. If I'm teaching someone how to really get into DSLRs and mirrorless, my Canon is there. So I do enjoy the benefits of each, and I think it makes me a well-rounded photographer, right? I'm pretty confident. And Fuji's my street photography. I'm pretty confident that I can pick up any camera anywhere and get the job done if need be. That's that. So, what would I recommend? Because I get asked this question quite frequently, and it's a hell of a question, right? Because there's so much out there, and as someone I'm always excited to be approached by someone who's willing to enter the craft, and they're all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about, all right, let's get it. I got this budget of $800, $1,200, $2,000, whatever. Where can I spend it, and how can I get going? Like, I'm always excited to embark with someone or be a part of someone embarking on their journey as a creative. And as a photographer or videographer, whatever it is. And the conversation about, what's the best camera, it's really a spider web of decisions to be made. Because, each camera manufacturer offers pluses and minuses. And then even within that, there are all these different nuances of, there's, some of them's got the micro four thirds or full frame options. Some's got APS-C options and full frame options. Some's got APS-C options and medium format options. And then even within that, there's cameras that have full frame or APS-C, but are geared toward video or photography or both. And it's a lot, right? So there's always this like very difficult conversation you have to have with someone to dissect what's important to them and where they see themselves going. And someone that's asking for advice on a new camera, they don't always know where they're gonna go or end up. Like, you may think, I just want to take portraits around the house, but you may end up doing street photography. Or you may think, I'm just going outside to capture the landscapes, but you may fall face first into event photography. Like, there's all these, and whatever recommendation you make, you have to make it with room for this person to grow, right? So it's a very difficult question to answer. And I find more often than not, the answer is literally the camera that's in their pocket. It's their phone, right?
1, 2, get down.
Removing the passion we share for cameras from the conversation, looking at it objectively, you'll find that there is such a high ceiling to be obtained or achieved with the cell phone. It's ridiculous. And there are arguments out there that cell phone photography or cell phone cameras are more capable these days than actual cameras, right? Like, I always love those conversations. There's pluses and minuses there. Nothing's absolute, but the amount of work that the smartphone manufacturers, you've got your Googles, your Samsungs, your Apples, are putting into these cameras, these phones, it's remarkable, right? Like, these things are hardcore portrait machines, video machines, landscape machines, street photography. Like I can't really think of a genre where your smartphone can't follow or can't go down that path. And then there are things like, you know, waterproof. You can take it anywhere. You can get on a plane with it. You don't got to worry about losing equipment. There's all these things. And I think the number one point when a beginner asks me about what camera I should get, I said, well, what's wrong with your phone? Why don't you want to use your phone, right? And I let them walk me down from there. You tell me why your phone isn't good enough. And I'm often in a position to say, well, let me show you. Let me show you what a manual, an app like Lightroom to give you manual controls of your camera does for you. Let me show you what Filmora Pro, is that the video one? No. Let me show you what these things do for you, right? So the phones themselves have got a pretty high ceiling, and for a beginner, I think the phones are a great place to start. And you don't have to spend any money. You already own it. I'd argue that using the phone exposes a beginner to the fundamentals that matter in photography, right? And this is just me. This is my approach to this. This is after years of doing it. This is where I land, and this is the hill that I'll die on. The basis of photography is storytelling. And, you know, you really need to put all your energy into figuring out how to tell a story, or no one wants to see that shit, right? Like, as humans, this is our most favorite and timeless pastime, storytelling. You know, from cavemen drawing shit on the wall to crazy fucking animated videos on Netflix. Like, it's all about storytelling. Every brand that you love, you probably love that brand because it was a story that their marketing team was able to draw you into and you connected to, right? Like, storytelling is the basis of photography. And photography is about storytelling, and it's about subject, and it's about composition of that subject, and how the composition of that subject lends to the storytelling. And that shit ain't got nothing to do with what camera you decide to buy as a beginner. And it also got nothing to do with invalidating the tool that's in your pocket on your phone that can get that job done. And if you want to push it a little further, you can still even do some editing. You can learn the basics of editing on your phone. I think it's amazing how the Lightroom version of the mobile version of Lightroom is just one-to-one with the computer, right? And you can do the exact same things that full-blown professionals are doing on their thousands of dollar editing rigs. You can also do that on your phone, in the bed, while watching TV, on using an image that you took from your phone, right? So, like, there's that. Before I go any further, a little bit of housekeeping. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you get a chance, browse through the channel, check out my last 2 or 3 videos. And if you like those, I would love for you to subscribe and become a mainstay. But here's a question for you that I would love for you to answer in the comment section down below. Do you agree? Do you think I'm off my rocker by recommending a phone for the first camera for a beginner, right? But for shits and giggles, what camera would you recommend as a beginner camera? For me, if I had to, if they say, no, I just want a camera because I just love the way that, you know, I love to hold something and blah, 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 blah. I still love the Sony a6000 series. I think they're super capable. I would also recommend something from Fuji. I really love Fuji. It's probably my favorite camera manufacturer right now. I love those cameras. Like a XV100 or something like that. What would you guys recommend? Just curious. So yeah, another thing about choosing the cell phone or the camera phone over an actual camera is noise, right? And I'm not talking digital noise in your photos. I'm talking about noise and the fatigue of having to understand how lenses play a role and cameras play a role, and which sensor do you do, APS-C or full frame? Do you go with primes versus zoom lenses? Like, do you go with the Sony versus the Canon? Do you go with the Fuji for the film simulation? Or do you go with the Nikon for the great video? Like, there's all these, like, it's a lot of fucking noise. And even when you make the decision to go, I'm going Sony, there's still a crazy amount of noise and decisions you need to make. And that's just in your initial purchase, right? So when you actually get, because if you go on Amazon and type in any camera, you don't just see the camera come up. You see like these kits that they sell, where they sell you, and here's these 3 filters that you'll need for your lens, and here's these 2 lenses that you'll need for this camera, and here's this bag to put all this shit in, and then here's these micro cloths that you'll need to scratch up your sensor because you're a beginner and you don't know, you shouldn't be wiping that shit down. Like, there's so much. It's just overwhelming. And for someone that's been in it for years, it still can be overwhelming. Just pick up your fucking phone and get to work. You know what I mean? Like, the phone becomes a safe haven from the noise. And when you remove the noise, this person can focus on what's important. Say it with me. Storytelling, subject, composition. These 3 things are what you should be focusing on as a beginner. Not, okay, I spent my $3,000, I got my camera bag, I'm down here in Dumbo, Brooklyn, I'm ready to take this shot. Which lens do I use? Now you're staring into a bag of fucking electronics, you have no clue where to start. That's a hindrance, right? And by saying, fam, just use the phone. Use the phone. Go on eBay and get you a tripod and get you a holder for the phone that you can put on that tripod and use your phone. I think that's a lot of value. And finally, there's, like I said, there's a lot of ceiling to be had when talking to camera phone photography. You can get a lot done. And in this world of research, I think, like everything else in life, you want to research something, you hop on YouTube and you go down the rabbit hole. And as you go down the rabbit hole, you start to see like, shit, all these people producing these wonderful images are all using camera proper. And they're all using the $4,000 camera and the $4,000 lens and blah, 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 blah. You're not wrong. But also, these people are making a living taking sponsorship from these camera companies, and they would love to sell you that shit. And it's not that it's not capable, it's just not the route I think you should take as a beginner. And then as you stay in your lane and you grind out with your tool, you can get the result that you want. I'm telling you, these smartphones are very capable. And even when you hit these hard ceilings and limitations, this is the part of you that really makes or break how creative you can get. It's the problem solving around the limitations of your platform. Here, we're talking about camera phones. But a lot of photographers, when talking about this subject of camera phone versus camera, they don't like to admit that even cameras have very real fucking limitations, right? And a lot of them are the same ass limitations we have with the camera phones. So I don't think it's fair to point out the limitations that someone will have with a camera phone when I can show you that same limitation on a camera proper. And it's really about when you come across limitations as a creative, that's where the meat and potatoes is. That's where you grow, because you have to creatively think your way around it. You have to solve these problems, and that's a good place to be. And it's a great place to be with your camera phone with your $4,000 in your goddamn bank account, right? Or maybe I'm off my rocker. I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section below. Again, my name is Ramon. I'm recommending the camera phone for the best camera for beginners in 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. I'm out of here, man. Peace.